That's a very nice question. But you must understand this is a principle Krishna has told. There's a divine in that individual also. But then you should not forget the divine in you also, isn't it? If that person is cursing you, just divine in that person only and no divine in me, that means you will keep receiving punches all the time. So there
I
is
mean, this is
Swadharma.
the first encounter with a person. It's your
No,
first
whoever it
encounter.
is, whoever it is, whoever it is,
Mhm.
if you understand that there is a divine inside of you, I have met people who have actually cursed me that people will put cow dung in your mouth, this will happen, you will suffer, and really, people who are very, some are respected also. Means I kept them at a point of, what do you think should my opinion be? Should I go and no, they will put more cow dung in your mouth, not in my mouth. What is that? That's a reaction. Instead, my best action here would be to ignore that, keep doing my duties, isn't it, Ji?
Isn't that
Because
what
that is
is?
a yes, Shrabaji, sorry.
Isn't that the Gita? What the Gita is all about? Krishna is asking Arjuna to go and fight those who have
Yes,
done.
so fight is on what level are you going to fight? If a pig is going to fight with a pig, what will happen? You will have dirt over you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And our job is not to keep receiving attacks also. Swadharmat nidhanam shreya. Your swadharma is something. So I think to Nidhiji's question, if somebody is attacking you, you have to respond. But understand that there is divine. Sri Aurobindo saw divine in the prisoners who were petty criminals, who were culprits in the prison. He saw Vasudevam Sarvamiti. That's a very high realization. To get a realization, it's not intellectually, no, no, sab theek hai, sab ek hai. That is a personal, intellectual understanding. But there's something called experiencing. And he used a very beautiful word when he got that experience. He used the word as misused bodies. In the misused bodies also he saw Vasudeva. So you can recognize the divine is there, but the divine is in a body which is misusing its divinity.
It
That's
means it's
all.
okay to, if someone is saying wrong to us, we can oppose it.
Yes, yes, why not? Why not? Why not? It is the same thing. We cannot, it's like even non-violence, if you see, non-violence has a spirit, isn't it? If you are too rigid about non-violence, you are actually going to ultimately perpetrate violence only. Because the person who is attacking, what are you going to do? No, no, I can't attack. I can't attack. What are you doing? You're supporting another violence. Violence which is not right at all. Why do soldiers fight for us? Why are we having security people employed? Not because we believe in violence at all. But if there is somebody who is violent, violent individual's strain has to be curbed there. So it is not neutrality. It is not neutrality. Equanimity is something which is different.
Not,
Recognizing all are divine. Everybody is divine.
yeah, not holding
The-
animosity within, right? Like,
yes, yes, you should not have the hatred written. Sri Aurobindo talked about Ravana also, black side of Rama. Didn't they take part in the what? There was a war, there was a fight, isn't it, between Sri Rama and Ravana also. So that is all. I think with this, let us.
Mm.
Can we, Nidhi ji, is that okay? Can we
Mm.
begin? All right, ji. Okay. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Let us begin. Hari Om.
Thank
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw? We had stopped at shloka number 33. Anybody? Anything that Krishna is, what Krishna was telling, or what happened in the last session? Anyone?
Yesterday, I think most of the shlokas were about the yogi features or properties of yogi, how yogi
Properties
behaves.
of a yogi. Yes. Mind is like
Most,
a flame which is not going to get disturbed. It is so steady. A flame that
so
won't be
steady mind and
disturbed
blissful
also by
soul
the
and
wind. Yes, Ji. Okay, Abhaji said that was all about the mind of the yogi, how it is in control, how sadhana leads to bliss, sadhana leads to an ananda, leads to great self-control. Anybody else? Anything else you would like to add?
But I
So we
had one
saw
question on this.
how,
You had a question. Okay. Fine. We'll look at
Why
the question of Abhaji and then go to Shwetaji. Yeah.
maybe we can take it later on, but I had a question. Why Krishna is telling these properties to Arjuna when where on the battlefield where he is a
Okay,
warrior, he is
okay. We
supposed
quickly
to
look at
fight.
it. Why is it
Yeah.
in the battlefield? Why teach about dhyana? I think in battle only you have to have greatest self-control. You have weapons in your hand. If your mind is not in your control, what is going to happen? A warrior who is not having a mind in control will be a warrior who will call casualties in both sides, actually. Sometimes the entire dharma of a warrior is lost when the mind is not in control. So it's important. We must understand that Krishna is pretty, what we can say, like a cool cucumber, cool as a cucumber. He is very calm. He is not under pressure. Battle is going to take place. He says, ha, I know what's going to happen. These people are going to take their own sweet time to form their like strategies, arrange their soldiers. In that time, I can have a chit chat. And how is he having? He's having chatting on the essence of yoga to Arjuna as if he has all the time in the world. But we should also understand this that then every moment we should be like Krishna. We should be conscious. If we can, if Arjuna can become conscious and receive Gita in the middle of a battle, I think we can also receive the knowledge from the divine at the most unexpected moment. We should not say, I'm busy now. Don't disturb me now, God. I have work to do. Most of the time, this is why we don't receive from the divine because we are busy, not available for the divine. So, I think that is one lesson we can learn from Arjuna. Yes, Shwetaji was adding something.
yeah, just that we stopped at Arjuna not being
Ah,
able to resonate with
yes,
all the
Arjuna.
wisdom
Yes.
that Krishna has given.
So just look at this. Krishna also has the time. Arjuna also has the time to say, थोड़ा और समझाओ मुझे properly. कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आया. He said, I didn't understand anything. 6 chapters Krishna has completed, means almost 5 out of them are Krishna's. But after 5 adhyayas, how much do you understand? He says, Shunya. Boss, your yoga only I don't understand. What is your yoga? I have understood nothing. And then let's go to the next shloka. It's very interesting. Patience of Krishna is divine. At least for the patience, we should worship him. Because it is crazy how he can be so calm. Arjuna goes next. Arjuna, if you recollect, two examples of the wind were given by Krishna. A person whose mind is not in control is like a boat without a rudder, meaning it will be just driven in any direction by the wind. Another place, he said, a yogi's mind is so steady that it will not get dispersed by the wind. Yogi's mind is sthira, sthita prajna. So many such words Krishna has talked about samatha, poise, everything. But if you see, the first shloka only Krishna is receiving from Arjuna as feedback. He says, Chanchala, my mind is still Chanchala. It is restless. What are you talking about? Steady mind. Mine is restless, monkey mind. What will you do now? And the next shloka, we come here. Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna pramathi balavat drudam tasyaham nigraham manye Vayuriva Sudushkaram. I repeat once more. Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna pramadhi balavatradam tasyaham nigraham manye Vayuriva Sudushkaram. Despite your words, my mind seems so restless. Its nature seems so stubborn and relentless. Oh Krishna, to tame it, I can't find a way. It seems as hard as controlling a wind blowing away. Guru ki vidya, Guru ko. Then what we call reverse. Krishna only. He again repeats the word. He says chanchalam. For what sthira, what anything you are telling. My mind is chanchala. It is unsteady. It is restless. He says. Despite your words, he's saying. Meaning, doctor, आपका treatment जम नहीं रहा है. थोड़ा सुधर जाओ. Better treatment करो. Like that patient is telling to the doctor. That's what Krishna is receiving as gratitude and thanks right now. Despite your words, my mind seems so restless. Its nature seems so stubborn and relentless. Oh Krishna, to tame it, I can't find a way. It seems as hard as controlling a wind blowing away. You're telling me to control my mind? Make it like a flame in a windless place? He says, my mind is only the wind. Lo, what will you do now? How will I stop the wind only? My mind is not a flame, it is restless like the wind. That is what he says. What do you think of this reaction of Arjuna? Anybody? Is it insulting Krishna?
No,
Yes or no?
there
If
is
No.
not,
genuinely
why
he's
not?
confessing. He's confessing that I want to understand and feel that, but मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है.
Okay, there's sincerity in it, isn't it? Okay. Yes. Yotsuna ji is adding something. Yeah?
Yeah. Honesty.
Okay, there's honesty, there's sincerity, some amount of humility also. There's a little bit of maybe veiled humor when he's using the same words and same examples in the opposite direction, but there is a sincerity, and Krishna is aware of the integrity of Arjuna. And Arjuna is really getting very grounded. He is in what we can say with simplicity. He talks about what he has understood. He says, I did not understand anything. Very rare it is. Did you understand? Ha ha ha. Okay, okay. That's all people do. Nobody really says, I did not understand anything you said. But Arjuna is doing this and he's very sincere. And he's talking about a real big problem. Somebody who is able to have sthira mati, or somebody who is having sthita prajna, somebody who is able to do meditation, that person is a different story. But generally, most of the people have a mind which is restless. You try to make the mind in control. Krishna says, Shanai, Shanai, slowly, slowly. They say, I can't even do slowly. I like one person was told how to you have to raise your consciousness. You have to think about the divine. This person asked a question, what is thinking? So from here to here, how do we take? Well, everybody has to be taken ahead, and let us see what Krishna does. He's not going to. Of course, this is one thing. Security is there in Krishna's place that he will not get insulted, and there's no fear in talking to Krishna and confessing. This is something which we can learn from Arjuna also. Let's see what does Krishna say. Before I just go in, one person had confessed that he had broken the head of Krishna, the Murti in his home, in a class. He was feeling very guilty. It's like, what to now? Where will I, which Janma will I get the consequence of this papa? The person afterwards also called, feeling very disturbed. I said, oh, you have become so powerful that you have actually cut the divine. He said, no. What did you do? Were you guilty or did you feel bad? He said, yeah, I felt profusely. It was in a fit of anger. I did such a thing. And what did you do after that? He said, I asked forgiveness. I said, if you have understood that you have done something wrong, this is not something, you're not going to repeat it, isn't it? He said, never, I will never repeat that. And if you're sincere, you've made a mistake, maybe you have attacked the Murti, but you have not attacked the divine. Understand that you are powerless. You cannot attack the divine. You no need to carry that guilt, but understand that this is a dangerous precedent if mind is not in control. So that was the journey. So this is a simple thing. Understanding will allow us to move ahead. And that is what we see here. Krishna is also telling the same thing. He says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Asanshayam. Yes, somebody was saying? No. All right. Asanshayam Mahabaho Manodurnigraham Chalam Abhyāsena tu Kaunteya Vairāgyena cha Grihyate. Lord Krishna spoke. O mighty armed one, taming the mind is difficult indeed, for its restless nature tries to always mislead. With regular practice, the mind can be trained, and with detachment, a control over it, can be attained. I repeat once more. Shri Krishna spoke, "O mighty armed one, taming the mind is difficult indeed, for its restless nature tries to always mislead. With regular practice, the mind can be trained, and with detachment, a control over it can be attained. This is a simple principle, easy enough to understand. And if you can understand, then you can practice." Means there's a lot of difference in between getting some information and realizing it. Can someone just tell me what is the difference? Getting information and realizing. Anybody?
Yeah, total, theory and practical.
Yeah,
So understanding is just theory,
yeah,
and realizing it is like practically you apply it, or like it comes to you. Especially, I feel that when you read such things, and then at that time, if you're going through something in your head, it really has an impact, and it makes so much sense. Yeah.
yes. Because that is why many times people say, no, like Arjuna is saying that he's good to hear. It is good to hear. Just now we had a meeting just a few hours back where a psychologist, a well-known psychologist of Pondicherry, he was explaining. We were celebrating World Union Day, and that time I told that apartment mein hi World Union is not happening. How is it going to bring about union of the entire world? We are struggling to bring union in the apartment. And he said, he looked at me and he said, I don't like people who talk about Gita all the time. Because I have seen so many people who talk the Gita, but they are absolutely narcissistic. I was like, okay, I don't want to let him think what he wants to think, but it is a point. It is not, it is a fair point. It was maybe a diverging point. But because a lot of information comes to us in life, we don't really, it just remains information. Sometimes it's something in the mind, something is somewhere, a thought is registered and it becomes a part of probably sometimes a distant memory. Some people can quickly access it, but that information must be first processed into understanding. I have to understand. This is required. I don't want to get angry. I don't want to like that. But an individual, isn't it? He broke a Murthy's head. He felt bad about it because that was the understanding. After doing some action, slowly the information is going into an understanding. But understanding, when it becomes integrated into your personality, it becomes what we call an experience which has now, entered into your consciousness. Then it becomes realization. Realization is something when you wake up in the middle of the night also, that will be still the same. You will be able to do the same thing without any disturbance. Maybe even in your dream also it will not change. That is realization. It has become completely inside. That is what needs to be done with the Gita shlokas also. Sometimes what can be done, there are 700 shlokas. Well, there are 700 gems for us. It's okay. We don't need to have all 700 gems. One gem also you pick that up, but bring it into your life. Your life is full, it's complete. You are completely fulfilled personality, wiser than the wisest, richer than the richest, more fulfilled than anything. If you can bring it into it. That's what Krishna is saying. He says, yes, it is difficult to tame the mind. Why? Because that is the nature. Chanchala hi manaha, Krishna, Arjuna says. Did we make our mind chanchala? Any of us? No, it's factory settings. Factory setting only, manufacturing defect has been introduced into all living beings, all human beings. So it is not really our fault. We can't do anything. But what we cannot reject that also because it's been given to us. But this nature of the mind is to always mislead us. So if we recognize that, is at least we understand that this nature, mana is there, mind is going to mislead. With regular practice, the mind can be trained, meaning sanskaras can be created on the mind. Children also, sometimes we say you have to create good sanskaras in children, isn't it? Why is that? What is the reason? Because that will help them grow. And that is required up to a particular point. Afterwards, then the children only have to start unlearning those also, and then become free to receive the higher knowledge, which is beyond that. But so for the first thing, at least controlling the mind. If you are talking about transcending the mind, first step is to control the mind. If you cannot control the mind, forget all those other realms which are beyond the mind. No intuition will come to you. No higher realization. No glimpses, no chance of clairvoyance, nothing shall enter into your mind if it is not in control. So, first step, basic step is my mind should be in my control. That is the beginning of sadhana. How can you do it? Krishna says it is with detachment, with vairāgya. With detachment only you are going to attain it. If you are attached, that attachment is going to be your undoing. It is as simple as that. For that reason, at least forget your attachment. Losing attachment does not mean losing love, does not mean losing your feelings, not losing the ability to empathize with anybody. It just means that you're not going to get carried away. So Krishna says detachment will help you control. With practice, you will become a master of the mind. It is as simple as that. Students, I think in school, this theorem is not, I'm not able to solve it. The teacher says practice it 20 times, practice it 30 times, then it will become easy. And it really becomes that way. असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुम् उपायतः. Krishna says, now this is the only difficult aspect Krishna has told here. What happens when you don't do anything? Well, here he says, when a control over self one cannot maintain, they fail in yoga, and a union they cannot attain. Through disciplined efforts, a mastery over self they can retain. With regulated practice, a control they can ascertain. So you don't control yourself, you will fail in yoga. This is a straight statement Krishna has given. You will fail on the path of yoga. My question is this a teacher who is cursing the students? सब फेल हो जाएंगे. What is this? Anybody?
Cause and effect, I think.
Cause and
If you
effect,
don't do
isn't it?
it, yeah.
Yes. So you cannot walk on the path of yoga if you don't control your mind, you don't establish that control. And through disciplined efforts, well, you will become the master. Like I said, a friend of mine who is, I was searching for 2, 3 marks, step marks for him so that he passes in mathematics, and he was crying he had failed in maths when he was in school. Today, he is one of the biggest auditors in Pondicherry. I go to him for advice. The same student, such a big transformation. How did it happen? All figures are in the head. Such fast calculations he's able to do. It's practice, isn't it? With practice, anybody can become anything. That is the human potential inside everyone. That is something Krishna says. Through disciplined efforts, a mastery over self they can retain. With regulated practice, a control they can surely ascertain. Arjuna replies, Krishna has told about failure. He's like a student. You have given me admission in this college. That means placement is compulsory. I've been told 100% placement. So I want results. Something like that. Arjuna is not going to leave his old nature so easily. It will take time for Krishna to transform him. Arjuna Uvacha. He says, Ayatahi Śraddhayopeto Yogachal Yogachalita Manasaha Aprapya Yoga Sansiddhim Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. Oh Krishna, what happens to the one who goes astray? After embarking on the path of yoga, I wish to earnestly know. When despite his faith, a seeker's mind wanders away, if he fails to attain perfection in the end, where does he go? Very logical question by Arjuna. Just look at it. He says, Oh Krishna, what happens to that one who goes astray? After embarking on the path of yoga, I wish to earnestly know. When despite his faith, a seeker's mind wanders away, if he fails to attain perfection, in the end, where does he go? What's the future? What is the prospect for me of walking on this path of yoga if I am not able to sustain it, is what he's saying. If he's going astray after he started the journey of yoga, all right. But he's gone astray, patha brashta, or we can say that person has lost his way. What will happen to him? He says. He had faith, that's why he walked on this road. But then if he's not able to sustain it and he doesn't attain, what will happen? Let's look at one more question and we'll just analyze this question. It's almost as if a very skeptical person is asking this question. He's asking, what is this? What will happen there? Nidhi is saying something. Yes, please. Yeah.
Arjuna is basically giving voice to all my thoughts.
It's giving, I think, to everybody's thoughts, isn't it? Yes, these are questions people feel. Yeah, I have to go. One person had asked a question, to somebody who had already taken a diksha from a particular guru. If you take guru mantra, then what? We have to listen to everything? Do I have to listen to everything the guru says? So that person was scared of, just they wanted to first get all the information before they go on that path. Same is something what Arjuna is saying. Kach no bhaya, kach no bhaya vibhrashtas, छिन्न ब्रह्म इव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढ़ो ब्रह्मणः पथि. Oh, warrior mighty, does he not lose out on both lives here? When the human desires, he fails to completely give up. And the union with Brahma, when he fails to keep up and perish like a cloud that will only disappear. So he is asking this. I just repeat it once more and we'll just analyze this question of Arjuna. Oh, warrior mighty, does he not lose out on both lives here? When the human desires, he fails to completely give up. And the union with Brahma, when he fails to keep up and perish like a cloud that will only disappear. Poof, that person will vanish, he says. He says, Dhobi ka katta na ghar ka na ghat ka, something like that. This person who is walking on the path, he started the path because he had some aspirations, but his desires were too strong for him. So will he not fail? Will he not become Trishanku? Is what he is asking. That person, will he not be lost? If not in this world, not in that world. Because here he has given up all attachments. So there's no chance. It's like no returns here for him. All policies he has signed, I don't want anything in return. And the other side, Brahma Nirvana seems like so far away, and he's saying, Hey Bhagavan, thak gaya, abhi wahan bhi nahi jana hai. What will happen to that person? Will he not disappear like a cloud? How is this question, first of all? Anybody? Yes? Anyone?
But very relevant because
Very relevant.
that is
Okay.
the thing with most of us. We try to
Yeah.
give up our desires. We try to
But it
walk on
comes
the
back.
path. Yeah. Comes
But they
back.
come back, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like how they say, I mean, we were told everybody should speak for 2 minutes. So the speaker started, I will not speak for much time. And the talk went on. We had to, our function got delayed by almost 40 minutes. Not this today's function, of course, I'm just talking about something else. But everywhere it is a common phenomenon where human nature, it's very difficult to mold. It is very difficult. And Arjuna is asking the right question here. It sounds skeptical, but there is also Śraddhā in him, in Arjuna. We'll see that in the next shloka, where that Śraddhā is visible so easily. But this is a question which comes to many, and that's why people sometimes are scared of walking on the spiritual path. Sometimes people only feed extra. Oh, don't do this sadhana, it is more dangerous. You will suffer more than a person who is in the material world because you have now come on this particular path and all these fears, unnecessary imaginary fears. Arjuna is also using the words, you see, yoga bhrashta. Somebody who becomes bhrashta on the path of yoga. I mean, nobody, it's like some uncle only must have told him this. Don't do this. You are going to be in trouble. It is easy. to just fill the mind with so many thoughts, especially when the mind is not yet ready, no, at that time. So these questions are very important, and this also shows the freedom in our Sanatana Dharma to question. If Krishna can be questioned, is there anybody who cannot be questioned? Beyond questions, is there anybody like that? No, it's not. At least Sanatana Dharma is not giving us that kind of slavery that we can't question at all. Here, it is permitted. But Shraddha must be there and there should be sincerity. These are the two simple things. Look at the next line. How beautiful it is. The Shraddha of Arjuna, which is visible in the next shloka. Let us see. Etan me sanshayam Krishna chetumarhasya sheshatah tvadanyaha sanshayasya chetana hyupapadyate. He says, this great uncertainty, oh Krishna, you must dispel, and the smallest of my queries you must expel. For this seems to be the only way out, and you alone can destroy this grave doubt. This is the Shraddha. A little Dadagiri is there for him. Ki my smallest of small questions you have to answer. Doubt you have to dispel. And then the last part is so beautiful. He says, this is the only way I can come out of this sorrow. This is the only way I can come out of depression. And he says, Krishna, if there are anybody in the world, it is only you who can take me out of this. This is Arjuna's Shraddha. When he's asking this question, he has such Shraddha. Shraddha allows us to become more receptive also. It's something which has to come naturally. We'll see later in Bhakti Yoga and other chapters when Krishna talks about it. Shraddha comes naturally. But here he says, you can resolve every doubt of mine, Krishna. So you allow me, I am asking these questions, answer everything. That is what he says. Let us see what Krishna says. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. He's answering these very important questions which are very pertinent to our lives also. What happens if I make mistakes? Is there no way for me? Krishna says, Partha, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tat gacchati. Shri Krishna spoke, O Arjuna, know this, there is no destruction, neither in this life nor the next, for there is no regression. For him who selflessly works for the greater good, no ultimate harm can befall him. May this be understood. Krishna is saying somebody who is sincere and is working on the path, who is going ahead, he need not worry about regression at all. Know this, there is no destruction, neither in this life nor the next, for there is no regression. For him who selflessly works for the greater good, no ultimate harm can befall him. May this be understood. Because this yoga brashta, people have fear that not just this birth, next birth also will be caused, the subsequent births also. And this shloka actually gave me a lot of relief. Because my grandmother would tell me, if you keep yawning while you're eating food or breakfast, you'll become a pig in the next birth. I heard it so many times and I yawned so many times that I was like, boss, this story is over. For your next birth, you are going to become from human to pig only. But here Krishna talks about no regression in the sense soulward growth only takes place. It is something which is, it's like, how do we say? Imagine you've opened an account in the bank and you've put some money. By good deeds, you're just adding little by little, you're adding money there. For some reason, you decide to stop doing those good deeds. Maybe some other desires came up and you stopped doing them. What will happen to your account? Will it start going in minus? What you have done is going to remain, isn't it? There will be progression, but it will not progress at the rate it can progress. You might have had some plans of progression. You have now slowed down a bit because you're not doing the right things, but it's not going to go backwards. No reverse gear is going to take place. Something is just like that. It is this life also. The Jivatman is going to keep gathering experiences and probably sending it to some kind of master receiver of all those experiences, and it's moving forward towards that realization. Arjuna and Krishna, what's the difference? Krishna told the difference is, Arjuna, I'm conscious of my births, you are not. The day Arjuna becomes conscious, he will also become Krishna only. Krishnahood will be his, but that smaran is required. So this is what Krishna says. No, this not this life, not next life. There's not going to be a regression. Though if somebody asks why are there stories in the Puranas, this person became this, that person became that in another birth. Well, Puranas are stories for the people to learn and understand some morals, isn't it? They are for the general public, those who could not understand the principles of the Upanishads, those who could not understand the Vedic principles. It was for the collective growth. These are moral stories, why people should do certain things. That was what it was. But otherwise, regression is not there, is what Krishna says. After coming to that consciousness of a human, there will not be a devolution. Movement will be always forwards. Krishna goes on. प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वतीः समाः शुचिनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते. The one who on the path of yoga falters attains the realm of the pious sentient beings, and after dwelling there for many years, is once more born in the household of pure beings. What is Krishna about that person who has walked on the path of yoga? He had experiences, he had difficulties in life, then decided to walk on the path of yoga, went ahead on the yoga path for some time, and then suddenly the old friends, the old desires immediately came to haunt or trouble. What happened to him? Then he lost his way, is what people say generally. But Krishna gives a perspective which is higher. He says, what happens then? What punya he has earned, isn't it? That punya is going to take him. He will go to that other loka. There are lokas after death. Only thing is we cannot see it until we die. So there's nobody who's going to give us a reference. We will not be able to see. Maybe some of those yogis who have actually experienced have shared. Depends on our Śraddhā if we want to experience it. But whatever it is, there are lokas, we will see them later. But in 8th chapter also we will see introduction to them. But right now we can take this much that one who falters on the path also, he will reach that loka, maybe the Chandra loka, the loka of the pious sentient beings. Probably all those beings whose desires have not been fulfilled. They have not completed their journey. They have done a lot of good. So probably those desires they are probably experiencing. But what happens then? The journey on earth is not over, isn't it? So they come back to the earth, is what Krishna is. After dwelling there for many years, is once more born in a household of pure beings for the sadhana to continue. Is again born after. It's like we go for holidays and retreats, isn't it? We book our stay. How many days do we book? We don't get permanent booking, no? Full year, 2 years, 3 years. Wonderful place. We go for some time. When our booking is over, then we have to come back to our usual work cycle. It is something like that for that pious yogi who walked but faltered. So he got some chance to experience there what is there. But then let's complete the journey. You're back to the home of beings. And it's something which is very special also to be born in a household where there is already some spiritual atmosphere. It's not very easy. But that comes to the yogi. That is why they say Purva Janma Sukrut. They say whatever good action and may have done. People don't know what we have done. Sometimes, if you see, the world is not like it's very dynamic, isn't it? Nobody is born on the same plate, isn't it? On the same plane. Some people get a head start. Some people have to do certain things. For some people, the biggest dream after working even for 20 years in life is I want food on the table. Very hard work they have to do that. Somewhere it seems unfair also at times. What is wrong? What did this guy person do? But we can understand the Gita talks about this karmic flux which is connecting previous life, current life, next life, everyday's life, everything. That is playing a role. So here is that being is born again in the household of pure beings. Even the yogi who has become yoga brashta is not eternally cursed for making a mistake. I don't think anybody should be eternally cursed, isn't it, for making mistakes? Can we curse ourselves? Sometimes we do that. We give ourselves punishment for making mistake, and then lifelong we keep telling, "I did this, I did this, I did this," and that creates a great burden people carry. Just sometimes, one person was told, "You are not wrong." A simple line that itself brought a big transformation in that individual. Because the person is continuously carrying a punishment. Like, where punishment is not required. We have enough things to experience. Life only sometimes feels like that with so many circumstances. We don't need to add to that. So, this aspect of hope is there. One need not give up at all. Let's continue. Krishna goes to the 42nd shloka. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram loke janmayadi drusham. Krishna says, or he may be born in a yogi's house and to the family of the pious and wise. For, for it is a privilege so very rare to be born in a household with a spiritual air. Krishna says, or the person may get a chance to do what? Well, he may be born in the home of a yogi only, or to the family of the pious and wise. For it is a privilege so very rare to be born in a household with a spiritual air. Don't you agree? To be born in an atmosphere where from the childhood the person is getting the chance to receive the higher wisdom. It is a privilege. It is something which is very rare that also the yogi may receive it. But a simple question, like it's like what we can say, the rose growing in the nursery will grow very well, isn't it? All the care is going to be taken care of. Good soil, good nutrition, good water. There will be a right amount of sunlight falling. It can easily progress very well. But a question comes, does rose grow only in nursery? No, it can grow outside also, but it's a privilege if somebody is caring and growing. So that is one thing which gives a person sometimes a good head start in life. But let's continue. तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरुनन्दन. And there, in that new atmosphere, in the second birth, he slowly assumes his previous birth status and resumes his yoga after an outer worldly hiatus. And his works gradually evolve towards perfection. O Arjuna, in yoga there is only ascension. Krishna is saying, I repeat this once more. And there he slowly assumes his previous birth status and resumes his yoga after an outer worldly hiatus. And his works gradually evolve towards perfection. O Arjuna, in yoga there is only ascension. The mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram had also said very beautifully, nothing is certain but the certitude of victory on the spiritual path for those seekers. That is one certainty because this is a journey which is only going to take us forward. Say you start practicing detachment slowly, maybe with success, sometimes failures, success, failure, slowly. What's going to happen is you are going to evolve into a better person, isn't it? If you practice it in the proper manner, you will evolve. If you follow the principles, you will evolve. That is absolutely certain. That's what Krishna is saying. And slowly, his previous birth status is he's resuming. It's like project incomplete. He's not going to start from 0% again. Some time he may take. He may take some time, some years. Sri Aurobindo also, look at his journey. His father wanted him to have no connection with India whatsoever. He sent him off to the UK. He felt it is more progressive if he receives an education there. He did not get a chance to study Sanatan scriptures, nothing of that sort. But the soul was born with a different purpose, isn't it? He utilized that opportunity, and we got a yogi who had then voraciously grasped all the Eastern, we can say all the Western philosophies also. Greek, Latin, everything he learned, and learned everything. And then the heart was Indian, isn't it? Only an outer circumstance was needed. He cleared the greatest exam, but failed the horse riding exam by not going there only. So then he had to come back to India. And then when he came back to India, it was a very different journey. And when it started, it went Godspeed. He had to learn some of the basics, so he searched. He got a guru, Lili Guruji taught him something about pranayam, and it was like he just needed introduction. After which, Guru also said, "Now I cannot teach anything to this person. He'll do his journey on his own." How is it possible? Well, that's a soul journey which goes on. Everybody is. It's like we are in a relay race. We are not realizing we are only passing the baton to ourselves and we are moving forward. That is what Krishna is saying here. And works will evolve gradually towards perfection. Oh, Arjuna, in yoga, there is only ascension. Today there was an interesting, an Italian person was present. He had just randomly met somebody somewhere and he came to that meeting. And he said he is working as a consultant in a plastic industry. But he wants to do something in life and he says, I want to take divinity to everybody, what he learnt in India. And he said, a plumber can offer his work as a divine to the divine through plumbing if he brings the divine into his activity. He said a doctor should learn to how to bring the divine and offer better service. The doctor can become a better doctor. That's his aspiration, and he had no connection before, but he has been coming every year for last so many years to India just for this purpose. The soul is very much Indian, isn't it? It is covering, continuing a journey of unreal, like unlocking, and he's not losing his roots. He's not losing his connection also with his country, and yet he is spreading the same principle. So this journey is something which we don't understand fully, but it's okay. It doesn't. We don't have to understand everything. It's just moving forward is what Krishna is telling here. He goes on further. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते. The person transcends the Shabda Brahmas also by virtue of this Purva Abhyāsa, the Abhyāsa done in the previous births. By virtue of his previous birth, his yoga is carried forward, and the soul is towards the science of union allured. And beyond the ritualistic practices, the seeker then ascends, and the principle of Vedas and Upanishads, he verily transcends. By virtue of previous birth, his yoga is carried forward, and the soul is towards the science of union allured. It's almost like an attraction, it's an inner attraction of the soul. That it's like all roads lead to Rome, like that, this soul's every aspiration will lead to the divine only, either through this way or that way. The journey resumes. Beyond the ritualistic practices, the seeker then ascends, and the principles of Vedas and Upanishads, he verily transcends. Like Sant Tukaram, he did not get a chance to study the Upanishad and the Vedas in the proper Shastriya way, but he received the realization. That was his soul journey. And then there were the Shastris who were misinterpreting and who tried to declare that Tukaram must be banished from the village. Not only did they do that, they made him all his writing and poetry, everything was to be thrown into the river. That was the order and the decree. He also would have felt so sad when he had complied to it. Like if God wishes, he says, I cannot leave it. I cannot go against this. Maybe I have really told all wrong only. Let that be my punishment. Let all my works go into the river. He offered it into the river. And he went back home, but the river sent it back. That was what the rumor was from the village. And then when he got the sakshatkar, that yes, the divine is by my back. The divine, I have understood something. I have got the experience. He went on to even make a beautiful one of his statements. So many abhangas, whatever he's made are called abhanga. That which cannot be destroyed, that which cannot be broken, that will stand the test of time. One of those he says, Vedansa to artha amasi sathava. I only can claim to know the meaning of the Vedas. That is the one where he says the sweetness of taste that comes from experience cannot be just understood by reading. He says the sweetness of mango, he says, Khadile asa godi, not mango, Khadile asa godi, dekhile asa nahi. The sweetness which comes from tasting cannot be seen. He says, so I have got the experience, so I shall tell you is what he says. That is the transcendence, isn't it? Shabda Brahmati Vartate, what Krishna says. Swami Vivekananda, when he came back, a lot of people were questioning him. He said, why are you saying this interpretation? But this person has said this, is what was the question raised by a Shishya of a particular guru. Will not name anybody. But why do you say this? But he has said this. He said, because I, Swami Vivekananda, say so. That was his answer. That was the answer, not rooted in arrogance. It sometimes, spiritual people who get the experience, they speak words with a force. The force of truth is what that comes. It is not arrogance. He spoke that. It Tukaram also saying that I can claim to know the Vedas. He's not challenging everybody who has studied the Vedas. He's challenging those wrong interpreters of the Vedas who are using that for a purpose of which is not meant for the proper use. It is like ahankar and arrogance should not be used. Nobody can use the power of the divine for personal arrogance. That's what was challenged. So this individual transcends. I think we must have seen reality TVs also, isn't it? Reality shows and singing programs where little kids suddenly come out and start singing in ways which are unbelievable. Have you not seen anybody? Has anybody seen that? What is your experience just looking at them? Anybody? If you have seen something, well, yes. Have you seen that on programs? Little kids.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
It
Abhaji,
is
what is your
like just
experience? Huh?
it is as if they are. It is from the earlier birth they are
Yes,
carried
isn't
that.
it? It's not possible for little children to get such depth. People say even the judges sometimes get up and oh, we've spent so many years practicing and we have not been able to reach certain stage. And you, at this young age, you have reached it. Some of the judges even bend to the young singers. They say, oh, Gandharva has come back. This Gandharva was not able to complete a journey elsewhere, so this journey to complete it at this age has come. So this aspect, of course, the reality shows have their own set of drawbacks in other aspects. But what we are trying to say is, it is possible. It is possible. Someone in a particular workshop, a parent shared the experience of their own child. The child was speaking about memories of certain temples and other things. And a very small child, the child was talking. Afterwards, the child forgot it all. The smriti gets lost after some years generally. In a very early childhood, little memory is there. But it was unbelievable. They said this childhood also as a child, before the child learned to speak also. Every time they would go near a temple, the child would start laughing and smiling and happily just behave in a particular way. Or there was one person sharing that their son was like their grandfather. The steps and everything the same. It was as if he has only come is what they would believe, whether or they, which is a belief or reality. But there are experiences which people have got. So the journey goes on. Shankaracharya talked about Punarapi Janama, Punarapi Marana. This cycle goes on till for what reason? Well, for a reason of evolution. Ascension takes place, birth after birth. Slowly the soul evolves. Krishna goes on further. प्रयत्नाद् यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धे सिद्धस ततो याति पराम गति. So we repeat once more. प्रयत्नात् यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस ततो याति पराम गति. But by concerted efforts and a sincerity in action, the seeker of union gravitates slowly towards perfection. Over periods of many births, he becomes sinless and purified. And with the knowledge highest, his endeavors are justified. Krishna says ultimately, slowly, the seeker, he gravitates towards what? Towards a perfection. Over several births, that person then gets purified. It's not just like that randomly once. It's been going on again and again. Become sinless and purified. And with the knowledge highest, his endeavors are justified. All those efforts of several births finally get realized, is what Krishna is saying. This is a beautiful shloka, the next one, because what should we do? Well, what Arjuna should do, I think all of us should also do, and this is a message for for Arjuna. But I think we can add our name also to the same thing, replace Arjuna with our names also. This is a Krishna's message for all of us. तपस्विभ्यो अधिको योगी ज्ञानेभ्यो मतोऽधिकः कर्मेभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन. Krishna says, Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Become the yogi, O Arjuna. You have to become the yogi and then enter the battlefield. Become that yogi, Krishna is saying. Which yogi is he saying? He's saying, become greater than the greatest tapasvi. Tapasvi bhyo adhiko yogi. Jnani bhyo mato dikaha. Karmibhyash chadiko yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. It's difficult. It's like Krishna is saying, like, I think when we are in school, what is after finishing schooling, what is our biggest worry? Which college in India, at least all the students are sincere and who want to get admission somewhere, who are not going to just get some paid seat somewhere. They have to work hard, isn't it? Their biggest worry is which exam can I clear? Which exam should I go for? Which exam should I clear? Krishna is like saying, become greater than the greatest tapasvi, greater than the greatest karma yogi, greater than the greatest jnana yogi. Also, Krishna is saying, it's like he's saying, you have to take part in all exams and clear and become the best among all. That looks very difficult, isn't it? Krishna is because sometimes we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed by seeing the tapasya of some people. Some people have that such determination that they are doing so much tapasya. We'll say, "Hey Bhagwan, 100 में नहीं होगा मेरे से." 100, I mean, it's not like we don't want to try. We feel we cannot reach that state. Feels so far away. Same. Sometimes people do great karmas. Sometimes at very young age, people have achieved certain things, and we feel, look at that. That person already achieved it. When will I get a chance? I'm not going to. Yeah, I got a reminder. 1 minute. Okay. One more shloka. We'll try to complete. Yes, so this karma, some karma yogis, they have done great works, and we feel we cannot reach that also. And then forget the world of knowledge. Knowledge is also sometimes so deep and so vast that we feel wonder. We're like, how can I even touch or equal that? Forget transcend. But Krishna says there is somebody who can be greater than all of those, and that is what I want you to be. Krishna is telling Arjuna. He says, in comparison to the firm ascetic, he is greater. Amongst men of knowledge and works too, he is better. He who practices yoga integrally is most superior to me. And so a yogi is what? Oh, Arjuna, I ask you to be. Who is that yogi? The yogi who is integrally practicing the yoga in all forms of life, in all walks of life, wherever that person is going, he is going to be greater than the greatest tapasvi, greater than the greatest jnani, greater than the greatest karma yogi. It is actually very interesting how he said that. Let's look at the last shloka of this adhyaya. Krishna gives the secret. How do we transcend? Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatenantaratmana Śraddhāvān bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mata. I repeat. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantaratmana Śraddhāvān bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. Krishna gives one magic word. This magic word is like it's like a secret code which will immediately make things easy for us. When we were playing games during our school days or college days, we all had what we call cheat codes. You enter that and immediately your character can play God mode. Nothing will happen. Bullets will not hurt you. Your health will reach to the highest statistics, whatever are the stats are there. All of that. Well, in life also, we have a little one kind of a cheat code that is Śraddhā. Śraddhā for the divine. Make your Śraddhā so firm and then watch what transformation happens. Because here Krishna says, He whose inner self to me has consecrated. For me, an infinite faith and love he has accommodated. Amongst all the yogis who hold the divine dear, he is in union with me, and to me, he is most near. So Krishna says, this person is most closest to me. Who is that? Whose inner self to me, that person has consecrated, meaning offering yourself completely to the divine. Somebody has consecrated. What is your ambition? What is your aspiration? Well, simple. What is your purpose? My purpose is one, my aspiration was one, my ambition is one, to serve the divine. I live in service of the divine. But what about your personal desires? Personal, I don't have any personal desires. But you are a human. You should have desires. No, no, God will take care of. I have full Śraddhā. Divine will take care. This is an attitude many people go through entire lives. They are really taken care of also. That is their experience. They don't run after their desires, and still those desires are fulfilled by the divine if they deserve it. They understand that, and so they are quietly practicing, and they have consecrated their entire lives. Entire lives means it's so difficult. Somebody asks you to consecrate anything of yours, you feel how no, this is important. That I want to keep for some time. If you look at your home, you'll have so many things. Sometimes they're very useless, but you still feel I can't let go of this. So you will have some people have a room full of that. But here, this person has nothing. All has been consecrated to the divine. And Krishna is saying, well, that person has given space to me in the heart. And he says, not just small space. He says that heart is so vast because of the love inside that the vastness of that heart is itself so much that his love is also infinite, is as much as his Śraddhā. And he has given me such wonderful space. Amongst all yogis who hold the divine dear, he is in union with me, and to me, he is most near. One doctor, a famous cardiologist, shared his experience of treating a patient. Cardiologists themselves didn't have any specific Śraddhā on the divine, but that patient was a small child. And the child, just before the operation, came and told the doctor, Doctor, take care. He said, no, no, don't worry, I'll take good care. No, no, doctor, take care. Krishna is sitting inside, okay? So don't hurt him. My God, this person was like, I don't want that child's Śraddhā to get hurt. This was a difficult, complicated operation, but he said, whether or not the divine is there, I don't want that Śraddhā, such a sweet and beautiful Śraddhā, it should not be lost. And somehow, he said, for in his life, he prayed and did that operation, and it was successful. What is this? This is the power of Shraddha, we can say. It allows a person to transcend. And there are experiences. This is not just some poetic thought. A participant also in a workshop shared her experience where she was, I think, an anesthesiologist. She had to put a tube into the breathing tube because of accident of a child, of a young man actually. Yeah, she was not able to do it at all because the face was badly damaged. And she had this one thing in her head. I don't want to go to the mother of that child and say, tell that mother that I could not save your child. And she was struggling, struggling, struggling. She said, and I gave it up to the divine, is what her words were. She said, I cannot do anything. I just gave up to the divine. I kept trying, and something happened. I also don't know what happened, but it went in, and I could go ahead with the operation. This is a lived experience of a person who has done operations, who has given anesthesia so many times. She knows what is easy, what is difficult. She knows what she's capable of, what she's not, and she's declaring openly that I could not do it without anything, so I offered to the divine and just did my duty. That is the power. That is the power of Śraddhā. And Śraddhā is nothing but a kind of a pure love which is not expecting anything in return. Is there any pure love with expect something in return? Anybody? No, isn't it? Pure love is always one directional. Why is it one directional? Because it's too precious to be returned also. No? What can you return? You can return something that has some market value. This is beyond the market. It is priceless. what will you give in return for something that is priceless? So that is like that. And the bhakta starts practicing true love to the divine. That person does not expect anything, consecrates even the entire life. And such a person, Krishna says, is in sync with me, is in sync with my consciousness, meaning that person breathes and dwells in a consciousness which is empowered by the divine. No wonder some very interesting things happen in such lives which are connected with the divine, because the divine consciousness works there. They allow the divine to work, and great manifestations take place. So I think with this, we are ready to conclude our today's session. If somebody wants to ask something or share something, you're welcome, or we just look at the take home points today. From Dhyana, Krishna has suddenly introduced the concept of Śraddhā and Bhakti. Yes, anybody? If you can, yes, please. Payalji is saying something.
Yeah, this is the last shloka. It's very, I mean,
Yes, Ji.
very, I feel very important for me.
The last shloka. Yes, Payalji. Why do you say so? So that we can also just probably we'll also learn and we'll also start finding that shloka very important if we can learn from your experience. Yes, Ji.
I mean, it's just, I don't know how to explain, like
Okay.
pure love.
Ha.
Pure love. It,
Yes.
that just, it has some kind of instant impact on me. So
Okay. So I think it's difficult to, Krishna has also told me, Shabda Brahmati Vartate. And they cannot be, it transcends the words. So probably when we experience it, we will understand it. We will understand what it is, what really Krishna is saying. To be one with the divine, to be one with the divine, and the secret to become one with divine is just love.
yeah.
The mother has also told that this is a singular human emotion which has the potential of, you know, catalyzing our evolution, making our evolution go quickly, faster, at a greater pace. This is one emotion. But that emotion, it has to be pure. It shouldn't be with adulteration of personal desires, personal ego. I think it spoils everything, isn't it? When we put ourselves into that love, what happens to the best relationship? It becomes spoiled, isn't it? Amrit also can become vish. That is the biggest thing. The poison from what is an immortal elixir can become poisonous when it is mixed in wrong proportions. That is the wrong proportion when we add anything to pure love. Let us try to even not pollute it by our own interference. Then we can experience it. Krishna says the heart that is accommodating the divine, well, that heart is going to be taken care by the divine. That's what Krishna is saying. That person is connected with the divine consciousness. So Payalji shared one takeaway. Anybody else would like to add any takeaway, or we conclude with the Shanti mantra? Yes, Shwetaji? Yeah.
So my takeaway today is clinging to the divine with faith and love and being receptive to the grace, offering all the virtues, vices, everything at the divine's feet, and self-observation, self-control.
Yes, okay. Great. And these are all very huge takeaways. I think we can all practice these in life to make a very different life experience only. Maybe it can become divine, isn't it? Life will become divine if we can practice this. Yes. All right, Jay. I think with this we will conclude. It's actually quite simple. Looks like that making life divine is actually simple if we are not interfering in it. We only our personal nature, our limitations, our own egos, all unnecessarily come in between and spoil an experience which is meant to be divine. Just have to probably love sincerely without expectation. And our love offered to the divine brings all the transformations. So I think with this, let's conclude with a Shanti mantra. The same spirit maybe let everyone experience that. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Nande Jagat Guru. Hari Om Punar Milama. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hari
Namaste.
Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Thank you, Ji. Hari Om Ji. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Hari Om Ji. Namaskar. Yeah. All right.